The Great Bird Poop Disaster. You'll Never Look at a Pigeon the Same Way Again by Anna Starczewski. As you read, why is bird poop a problem for humans? Rome, Italy was in chaos. Cars skidded off roads, scooters crashed, dozens of people were injured. The government urged people to stay inside. What had caused this crisis? Was it a terrible storm, a volcano, an earthquake? In fact, the cause was bird poop. Lots of bird poop. Each year, small speckled birds, called starlings, pass through Rome as they migrate south to warmer climates. In October 2015, the first birds arrived as usual. But they didn't leave. More kept coming, and by January, Rome was besieged by 4 million starlings. They screeched, they blackened the sky, but the real problem was their poop, which coated the ground, making streets and sidewalks dangerously slippery. Rome is not the only city that has been menaced by bird poop. The pasty goo is a major headache for cities around the world, damaging infrastructure and endangering the health of those who have to clean it up. How did this icky problem start, and what can be done about it? Danger. Bird poop is different from that of many other animals. Unlike most animals, birds urinate and defecate at the same time in one deposit. At the center of a bird dropping is a black substance. That is the poop. The white, gloppy stuff is the urine, which consists mainly of uric acid. Now, uric acid is corrosive. That means it can eat away at the surfaces of buildings and bridges. Bird poop can also ruin everything from the paint on your mom's car to your favorite t-shirt. In the U.S., pigeons alone cause about $1.1 billion in damages every year. Bird poop has also caused disasters. For example, in 2011, part of the road of a gas station in California collapsed due to the nearly 12 inches of pigeon poop that had accumulated there. Fortunately, no one was injured, but someone could have been. Bird poop also creates unsanitary conditions. For workers who have to clean up large quantities of the stuff, it can cause health problems. Too many birds. A little bird poop here and there is not a problem. But we're not talking about a little bird poop. We're talking about a deluge that falls on our streets, parks, offices, homes, and yes, sometimes our heads. Why is there so much bird poop? Because our cities have been overrun by birds. In New York City, for instance, the pigeon population has been estimated to be as high as 7 million birds. Each pigeon drops about 25 pounds of poop per year. Do the math, and you'll come to the horrifying realization that as much as 175 million pounds of pigeon poop gets splattered across New York every year. Wow. Pigeons, along with seagulls, starlings, and various other bird species thrive in cities for several reasons. The birds don't have predators in cities as they do in the wild. They nest comfortably in buildings, on window ledges, and on rooftops. And they get plenty to eat from our garbage and from people feeding them. In other words, humans have created a wonderful home for the birds. As a result, the birds have reproduced to the point of overpopulation. bird overpopulation isn't good for humans, and it isn't good for birds either. When a bird population gets too large, the birds are forced to live in crowded nests where they can easily pass diseases to each other. The good news is that if we are diligent about cleaning up bird poop, the damage, to us at least, can be minimized. Promptly removing droppings helps prevent corrosion and stops the poop from piling up to hazardous weights. To protect yourself after a gross surprise from above, use warm, soapy water to wash off any bird poop on your clothes or skin. And of course, if you find yourself in Rome when the starlings come to town, be sure to wear a hat. How to solve the problem of bird poop. Around the world, cities are trying to deal with bird poop in all sorts of creative ways. Number 1, bird feeding bans. Feeding birds can be fun, but doing so encourages more birds to flock to feeding areas. Several cities that enforce bird feeding bans have seen reductions in bird populations. Number 2, hawk patrol. In a park in New York City, hawks were released to control the pigeon population. Hawks like to snack on pigeons. But after a hawk attacked a small dog, the program was abandoned. Other cities have tried a more humane approach, scaring off pigeons with robotic hawks. Avian ecologist Dr. Jean Tate explains that pigeons are too smart to be fooled, though. The birds just get used to the robots, she says. Birdhouses. In Basel, Switzerland, a biologist named Dr. Daniel Hogg Wackernagel implemented something called dovecoting. A dovecote is a large structure full of compartments for birds to nest in. 13 dovecotes were placed around the city. Many pigeons chose to live in the dovecotes rather than in other structures such as buildings. Any eggs laid in the dovecotes were replaced with fake eggs to help control breeding. At the same time, people were encouraged to stop feeding birds or to feed them only near the dovecotes. Within 4 years, the city's pigeon population has been reduced by half. Number 4, bird call sound systems. At one pigeon-infested New York City suburb station, loudspeakers were installed to blare a series of bird distress and predator calls every few minutes. The calls signaled to pigeons that danger was near. Many pigeons were scared off, and workers were able to clean up much of the bird poop in the station. But not all the birds fled. Maybe because some people continued to feed them? Number 5, spikes in bird roosting areas. Placing spikes on window ledges, bridges, fences, and other areas where birds nest is an effective way to keep the birds away. According to Bird Be Gone, a bird control company, spikes are both humane, they don't harm the birds, and cost-effective. One box of spikes is about $35. Imagine that you notice a large amount of bird poop around your town. Not hard to imagine, right? Write an essay explaining why this is a problem and proposing a solution. Explain why you think your solution would be successful. Now, this contest is no longer live. You see, the publication date is November 2017. But many of you who are looking for enrichment or extension activities or looking for a topic for their journal writing for the week, there is one place to start.